Alrighty, what are we looking at? So I'm making another review on the Filmcity FC-03 shoulder rig. There's quite a bit of stuff out about this already, mostly in written reviews. There's not that many video reviews or people using them, or people kind of moving around the rods and kind of shaping it up a bit differently. So I'm just going to show you what I've got. Now on this I've got a Panasonic GH5 with a Viltrox and a 50-100 lens. Now this is the kit here. You can get this for about 300 Aussie on eBay. It's a great bit of gear. Everything works, follow focus, it's super smooth. Once you've got it rigged up and good to go, it's great. Things people mention online in reviews. It is made of plastic. Oh, this is plastic. The matte box, metal. Awesome, actual proper matte box. It's not just a, they're not just kind of sun shades with your, if I can get, oh, my lens is caught on it, and that's why. Got my lens too far. With your 4x3 filter boxes, you can put 2 in there and you screw them in and then they stay in there. There's also a sock that comes that you put on here, goes over your lens and hides any light that might leak in here. Now what I've done, you might notice if you look these up online, mine looks quite a bit stumpier, it's a bit shorter in here. When you buy this, there's an extra attachment here on the arm and the cage is way up here. And same as all this kind of stuff. So if you look at the back here, see how long this weight arm is and this pad? What I did is everything came on this bar. Everything was built on this long bar here. And then this bar that everything now sits on was the weight bar. So I took everything off and I flipped it around. I feel like you only need it on this bar if you're rocking FS7 bodies, Blackmagic Ursa Mini bodies, Canon C300s, big bodies, which is the other reason why you can get this cage up super high. So I changed this. I was rocking this for about a week in the original setup just with the small cage. Got home this afternoon from doing some tests in the park and kind of clicked as to why have I still got these long rods here. So everything's kind of been shifted. Something I did change, the handles were normally in front of the matte box. So the cradle for your camera, follow focus, matte box, handles. And the handles were out super wide, which left me with my arms way out here. And again, if I had a massive body, like a mid-format camera body on here, that would make sense. But yeah, changed everything around. Switched around the handles in the matte box, so now the handles are behind the matte box. Bought them in super close. Now there's a couple of reasons why I did this. Anyone using mirrorless or DSLR-ish type bodies, the follow focus, I can go, it's much easier for me to go one-handed and keep the center of gravity here and be able to keep this steady. And 2, this bar the handles come on just happens to be long enough that I can support that and my handle and still pull focus. I can't go as far if my hand was completely free, but I can, if I've got my 2 good focal points, I can sort of brace myself here and I can pull. What else can I talk about that hasn't really been covered online? It's a beautiful bit of kit. For the price you pay, this is no play. I've seen some reviews where guys were playing with this, saying there's a bit of play in the follow focus. Maybe I lucked out, but there is nothing until I put a nice meaty amount of pressure in there. There's no play, not at all. Like I said, metal barn doors. Everything's plastic. Now, the only thing was people were saying this is a bit odd. Like, the amount of weight that's on the back here. This plastic is strong, it's metal strong. There's no way that these bars are gonna crack or cave, even though they're that long. I mean, look at that, if I put my hand there, completely fine. This is just gonna be a short and sweet review, really, just to show the Filmcity FC-03 running a GH5 Panasonic Viltrox adapter, Sigma 50 to 100. It's great. There is inbuilt stabilization in this, not in the glass. There's a pretty big difference between, I've got a gimbal as well, 3-axis, which is electric. Now, this is halfway. You go handheld, it's very tense, it's very shaky. You really feel like you're deep in the action, like you're running with whoever's running, or you're diving with, you know, someone diving down or whatever. This kind of gets rid of a significant amount, about 50%. Even the way you move becomes quite different. Everything gets a more floaty kind of feel to it. Have a Blackmagic pocket camera that I had on here as well before when we were testing. It makes the Blackmagic pocket camera look like it has the inbuilt stabilization in the GH5, which is pretty cool. Even though the rolling shutter on the Blackmagic is a bit of a nightmare. These follow focus rings, you get about 6 of them in the pack. This isn't even the biggest one. So this lens, easy, this fits straight on. I'm probably just gonna leave these on now all the time so I can pop them on here. Plenty of room in there, as you can see. It's made of pretty big glass. And that's it. The only things I need to adjust, I even found a height. I've got this whole rig still mated to the Viltrox. It's actually screwed into my base plate on the Viltrox, which means when I change glass, because I'm not putting it on the collar here, it stays the same height. So I found this magic zone where the matte box stays where it is, and both my lenses fit perfectly right into the middle. Heaps of clearance here to see the screen. If I need more, I can move this back. If I need less. If I want to go just handheld, I can do this. I think my neighbour's cutting something. Don't know who's doing that. My neighbour's like a 80-year-old Italian woman. Mini rig. So if I want to shoot without the counterweights, I haven't really played around with this. I guess the idea is you can sort of float. If I want to stand up and get low shots, I'd hold it like this, and I can tilt my screen up, and I can go down super low, and I can follow focus if I want. It's a beast of a setup. Like I said, for 300 bucks, I'm pretty sure I got all of this secondhand, like secondhand used maybe once by someone else, for 250 bucks Aussie. It's a great kit. I don't really want to put the GH5 in a cage, just because I have no reason to put it in a cage, and the fact that this has this very, very adjustable cage attached to the whole system makes it a freaking dream to work with. And that's it. If you want to know more about this shoulder rig, just Google it. People say it's kind of a budget entry-level rig, and all that means it has or doesn't have is it's not made out of carbon fiber or aluminium. It's not metal. Doesn't need to be. The matte box is metal, which is lovely. It's nice having a matte box you feel like isn't going to crack or break or snap. Actually has these sliders for NDs and polarizers and stuff. And 1, 2, 3. 3 sets of different rods, which you can play around with and switch them out. Like if I wanted to make a smaller rig, I could use these rods on top with the handles being held, and I could probably fashion something out of them. For this getup, size-wise, yeah, my first thing was I switched out these rods from here, because the whole system was built on here. So handles, matte box, follow focus, the cradle for the camera, then the arm, and then the smaller weights were here. So I took it all off, took it off this because I'm not using a big body, switched them around, put them all on the small poles and made my counterweight this. Having the counterweight on here, having it way back over your shoulder is awesome. I'm actually thinking of getting a second one. Purely just for fatigue. This isn't a super heavy camera. The lens is actually a bit heavy. But yeah, one more on here. I reckon with this length, I could find a pretty good counterpoint where I could actually kind of get the camera to balance itself. If I had my rig here, just enough weight, I could get it on that tipping point, which for me would be amazing because we're about to start a shoot and I'm gonna be running this rig for about 3 days straight, all day. But it's awesome. For the money, you can't get any better. And for the money, better doesn't make any difference. It might be a tiny bit lighter, but the weight of your rig on it is gonna counteract any lightweightness you might get from these being carbon fiber. If you have a whole rig made of carbon fiber, that's a lot of money just to have carbon fiber. My big tripod here, my camera tripod, which is holding my iPhone, is weight loaded for like 30 kilos and it weighs nothing. It is carbon fiber. But if you don't need it, which I don't think you do, get this, the Filmcity shoulder rig comes with everything you see here and that sock that goes around here in your lens to stop light from bleeding in. Amazing follow focus. It doesn't have any hard stops. There is a model of this one step up that does have your adjustable so you can click, click, click. But that doesn't really faze me. You know, I'm gonna have my markings on here anyway. We've pulled it there, pulled it there. Biggest bit of glass I own. When I put on my smaller lenses, I just have to slide this back and forward. And that's it. Everything's rigid. Everything is super sturdy. People talk about saying you have to tighten these because they're plastic, they come loose. I don't see how these are gonna come loose. Unless these are channels where people are getting sponsored by other brands, so they have to kind of come up with something about these products that they don't like. There's not much really. One thing I must say, if you tighten up the center piece that holds your camera to the cage, if you tighten these 4 screws way too tight, you can't slide your follow focus back and forth. That's just a setup thing. It's a matter of sitting down, setting it up how you want it. I recommend this setup here. I was playing with it for a couple of hours and this little combo is solid. I mean, look at that. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, just got this loose enough, or just got this tight enough that this can still move, but this isn't going anywhere. The handles, I haven't even screwed on at the bottom here. They're only attached at the top, here and here. These can't move. This back piece is holding on. This front bit is wedged between the follow focus and this bit. So even though this arm here and this arm here aren't screwed at the bottom, they can't move. Being screwed at the top is enough. The reason I did that is so my base plate here that can slide directly onto my fluid head on that tripod there. If I had these arms screwed on, there were screws sticking down, or the little turny bits sticking down, which stopped the plate from being able to slide on to the fluid head. And that's it. That was the only one thing that was kind of niggly and got in the way. But other than that, there's nothing else I can think of. This little rig with the GH5 is just stellar. And it comes on and off, so easy. You loosen this, you press your little release button, loosen it, and it just slides off. And that's it, slide it on, put the follow focus, slide the follow focus back onto the cog, and away you go. I'm gonna leave you there, guys. I've got another review I'm gonna do next with the Blackmagic pocket camera on the new Zoom Crane Plus with the Sigma 18-35. The body is so tiny, in its cage, it balances perfectly. Watch my next video and I will show you how I did it. Thanks guys, see you next time. Beautiful, so good.